Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. So today students will be starting with your fourth supplementary, that is Should Wizard Hit Mommy, and that is by John Hoyer Upkite. Now this is one author who was born in 1932 and could expire in 2009. He is an American novelist, poet, short story writer and a literary critic. Okay, and he is the author of 50 odd books, including 20 novels and numerous collections of short stories, poems and criticism. Okay, and his fiction has won the Pulitzer Prize, the National Book Award, the American Award, the Howells Medals and lot many awards. Okay, and he is one postmodern writer and he understands the contemporary youth, he understands the contemporary situation, and he is however best remembered for his domestic fiction. Okay, and also Upkite was writing at a time when perspectives were further changing, especially patriarchal culture had begun to unravel, had begun to change. That was in 1950s. Okay, remember this. And this unsettling of gender roles and perspectives is further reflected in his novels, and this very particular story, that is Should Wizard Hit Mommy, it has taken the issue we see and find the couple which is trapped in a routine of responsibility and how they try to overcome the same. Okay, so this story also deals with the worldview of a child and the difficult moral question she raises during the story with her father Jack. Okay, and the story searches for the ultimate realities of family life. Okay, Jack gets annoyed when Joe, his 4-year-old daughter, tries to change the bedtime story. Okay, so now let us listen to the story and understand what it is trying to communicate and say. So here it goes. Every day, Jack told his 4-year-old daughter, Jo, a story. He created a new story each day, and he had been doing so for the last 2 years. Hence, his head felt empty. All the stories followed a similar pattern. Each story had a small creature named Roger who had a problem. To solve the problem, Roger went to the wise owl. Invariably, the owl told him to go to the magic wizard who solved his problem. The wizard always asked for more money than Roger could create, but he also offered a solution. He told Roger how to find this extra money. All the stories had an happy end, with Roger's father coming from Boston. The story sessions are very tiring on Saturday because Joe never fell asleep. On the day the story begins, Joe lays in bed waiting for another story. She wanted her to tell her a story about Roger the skunk, a new animal. Jack presumed that they might have talked about skunks at nursery school. Jack too was enthusiastic because of the new hero. He began his story about the tiny little creature Roger Skunk who smelt very bad. It was because of his foul smell that none of the other little creatures would play with him. Jack went on with the story and recalled the humiliation that he had suffered in his own childhood, just like the skunk. Roger Stinky Skunk was miserable. He could not do nothing but cry. Jack even traced out with his finger Roger Skunk's tears along the side of Joe's nose. Joe, like any other child, wanted to put the skunk out of the misery. She wanted him to reach the wise old owl, but Jack was in no hurry. He was pleased with himself as he was telling her something true and something he wanted to know. Jack also heard his wife Claire working downstairs and felt he ought to help her paint the living room woodwork, especially since she was pregnant. Ignoring her, he continued the story. The skunk reached the wise owl. Mr. Owl advised him to go for the wizard. Joe was delighted as the solution was close. That would put an end to Roger Skunk's unhappiness. But this is not what Jack had in mind. Jack said magic spells were real only in stories. He said that Owl asked the skunk to go through the dark woods under the apple tree into the swamp over a little river to Wizard's house. Roger Skunk did so. Meeting the wizard, Roger Skunk told him his problem. The wizard took Roger Skunk inside his house, where all the magic things lay jumbled together. The wizard took his magic wand and asked Roger Skunk what he had to smell like. Roger wanted to smell like roses. The wizard chanted some magic words and granted Roger Skunk his wish. The wizard asked the skunk for 7 pennies, but the poor creature had only 4. Jack heard Claire shifting furniture downstairs. He felt that she should not move heavy things as she was 6 months pregnant. But he went on with the story. The wizard told Roger Skunk to go to the end of the lane to look down the magic well. He would find 3 pennies there. Roger Skunk did as he was told. He got the pennies and gave them to the wizard. Roger went to the woods. All the other animals gathered around him because he smelled so good. He happily played with them. Joe presumed that the story was over with a happy ending. This made Jack unhappy, as he did not like women when they took anything for granted. He liked them hanging on to his words. So he continued his story. When Roger returned home in the evening, Mommy felt that he smelled awful. Joe was taken aback at the anticlimax in the story. His mother asked Roger Skunk who had made him smell like that. When she learned it was the wizard, she took him right back to the very awful wizard. Roger Skunk's mommy felt that he had smelled the way a little skunk should. On meeting the wizard, Mommy hit the wizard right over the head. Joe was annoyed. Not wanting the skunk to suffer, she completed the story. She said that the wizard hit Mommy on the head did not change the little skunk's back, but Jack disagreed. He said that the wizard made Roger Skunk smell bad again. Joe protested. Jack snubbed her, saying it was his story. Joe looked surprised. Jack continued with the story. Roger Skunk and his mommy went home, and they heard the train bringing Daddy Skunk home from Boston. Then they had a good dinner, and when Roger Skunk was in bed, Mommy Skunk hugged him and said he smelled like the little baby skunk again, and she loved him very much. That was the end of the story. Jack said that in due course the other animals got used to the way he was and did not mind his smell at all. Joe felt that Roger Skunk's mommy was stupid. Jack defended her as if he was defending his own mother. Jack said that the little skunk loved his mommy more than he loved all the other animals and believed his mommy knew what was right. Jack went downstairs and saw Claire had spread the newspapers and painting the chair wearing his old shirt on the top of her maternity smock. Claire remarked that the story took a long time. All he said was, "The poor kid." With sheer weariness, he watched his wife toil. He noticed the woodwork, a cage of moldings, rails, and baseboards all around him. It was half old tan and half new ivory. He felt caught in an ugly situation. He felt that both of them were caught in the cage. He did not want to speak with her, work with her, or touch her.